Hello and welcome back to Seagulls Social, Season 3, Episode 14. Oh my god, it is like 9 o'clock in the morning, something like that. We've done this early. Ryan, we've got him too early. Yeah, I know. We're screwed for time. Maz, we've got you as well. And we have got, I for one, I'm happy to say, we've got Chelsea's greatest content creator after Astrid Wet. It is Matisse. How are you doing, Matisse?
I'm good. Have you had her on as well?
No.
Obviously,
in her DMs.
Oh, the views would be massive, to be fair. But,
it would be.
I'm good.
I'm good as well.
Good,
I'm very
man.
good.
Well,
man.
thank you all for coming so early. No, of course. But let's just get your immediate reaction, because I'm sure you weren't expecting that. 4-1 against Graham Potter's old team. It's stuff that dreams are made of.
I can't tell you how angry I was. Like I was literally like, I turned my room into hell. I turned this light behind me into red. Do you know what I mean? It was like bang. It was red. I had the fire going on. Like I had this going out. Like I was just fuming. Like I was on a watch along, 2,000 people just going nuts, just like laughing at me, and I couldn't believe it. And I know you guys are a good team. I know you guys play good football. I know you guys can you can play your stuff. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be a tough game. And I was like, do you know what? Even if it ends up in a draw, it's not great, but it is what it is. But for the first 5 minutes to see Silva just make 2 mistakes in 5 minutes, we had to clear the ball off the line twice in 5 minutes. I was like, this is West Brom at home, isn't it? This is going to be like, this is the day where we get absolutely slapped.
Put some respect on our name, mate. West Brom.
Hey,
West Brom,
West Brom slapped us. West Brom slapped us, do you know what I mean? Albion tax, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not going to get Albion Rovers in Scotland. You'll probably get battered by them as well. Ryan, obviously you were there as well. How was it? The atmosphere was electric. The passion.
Mate, my voice this morning actually hurts. My throat is sore. Honestly, that was probably one of the best atmospheres, best games ever at the Amex. That is going down in the history books as at least top 3, to be honest. I think that even tops Man United in May. That is that good. To come back, see Graham Potter, my hater energy in me was very much flowing, right? And I was very, very proud of it after seeing his reaction at the end. But to be honest with you, Mark Cucurella getting booed every time he touched the ball. I mean, it was just, some things, mate, are just meant to be. Some things are just supposed to happen. And I think if there was a God or fate up there, that was supposed to happen. And that is exactly how it was supposed to happen. 4-1 against Chelsea, against Potter, against Cucurella, against the rest of the Snakes. All of them got battered. It is massive.
This is why football's the best sport, because it's just literally, you can only write it. The script writers had that down to a T. Graham Potter's first loss, being against his old club, the atmosphere like that, it was so good to witness and be a part of. But Maz, what were your instant reactions? And obviously getting the first goal so quickly and all that, it's just beautiful.
Ben, it was poetic, mate. It was poetic. Literally, get my veins, just inject it right there, and then it was sensational stuff. It was a great game. I thought we played really, really well. I thought, like Matisse said, from the first 5 minutes we just put it on them, and I thought that pressure was what, ultimately paid off for us. And it was one of those games where Chelsea, let's be real, they didn't play well, but I think you've got to give credit to our.
Wow. So Ben's found the soundboard for anyone that's listening here. And we didn't know we've had it for the 2 years we've been doing the podcast for.
So anyway, going back to what I was saying. Chelsea weren't great, but at the same time, I feel like we don't get credit where credit's due, as in we play very good football, and sometimes people say, oh, the other team was shit. Do you know what I mean? No, the other team played well, they didn't turn up. Okay, of course they didn't turn up and they weren't the best Chelsea they know they can play, but at the same time, we played very well, and we put the pressure on. The first half, 3-0 up, it was great. And then obviously in the second half, they came into it much more, and they got their goal straight away, and the pressure was on from that moment. But I thought we were great.
And to be honest, I think Matisse, actually, you put it probably best on for any Chelsea fan that I found anyway. Your tweet yesterday saying we robbed Brighton's infrastructure, took their staff and linked ourselves with their players. So they pulled up in a van, beat us up, filmed it and made us watch it. I think we deserve it. And to be honest, that is, poetry in motion.
Thank you. The only thing that I missed in that is saying De Zerbi. Do you know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. If I said that at the end, it would have been perfect. Do you know what I mean?
That would have been perfect, yeah.
But you were spot on, and I think it was just, as you say, we did deserve it, because I think, Roberto De Zerbi, he's finally got his first win, and the reaction of De Zerbi, and this is what I've loved the most out of all of this, is, amongst all of the boos, we've all had our fun yesterday, right? We've all given Cucurella stick, we've all given Bruno and Potter, etc. stick, but the most important thing to come out of it is seeing De Zerbi's passion towards this club is mad. And I didn't realise actually why he's so passionate just at the beginning until I read what Harvey put on BHAFC on Twitter. And he said that, he didn't say, I don't know what article this is from, but it said, De Zerbi ran on the pitch and Brighton took an early lead. The Italian, who had not won in his first 5 games, said he was thinking about how the Russian invasion of Ukraine had forced him to quit his previous job at Shakhtar Donetsk. And he said, we've all been through 8 tough months, the Italian said. I had a great team and Putin decided to take it away from me. In that moment, I found another team in Brighton. To find again a family and atmosphere that lets you feel a part of the environment is very nice. I have to be thankful for Brighton. That is a mad touch from De Zerbi, who literally has been out in the wars, and now he's coming here and says that we're his new family. I mean, that is another story on yesterday again. It was all, as I say, it was all aligned, and it's just, for De Zerbi to come in and feel that sort of love straight away. The atmosphere at the Amex was probably the best I've seen it in a long time, especially that first half. It was absolutely party atmosphere from minute one. And for De Zerbi to say that after the game, it's like he's captured the fans. I haven't seen a manager come in and capture the fans like he has done. I don't know if any of you are at Anfield, but at Anfield the same. He had it from minute one, and he's got it still. And I hope it continues, because we haven't had that. It makes a change from the Sly digs about our fan base, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was so good to be a part of. I just hope that, and I know we probably won't, I know that's quite negative, but I know we probably won't carry on that atmosphere into other games, but we need to try and find a way to doing it, even just if it's just like 50% of what that was, because we don't see that a lot. Matisse, obviously the crowd played a massive part in it. Even De Zerbi said that we were the best player on the pitch, but on the pitch with the players and with your manager Graham Potter, what was the immediate thing that you saw that he got wrong? Or was it just because Brighton were too good?
Do you know what? When I saw the lineup, I was like, that's very bold. Very, very bold. And I was hoping that it would work and it would maybe, push your wing backs back into a 5 and we might just be able to dominate. But playing Sterling and Pulisic like he did in midweek against Salzburg was definitely not the way, because it stopped him from being flexible, switching to a back 4 as well. If he had played maybe Azpilicueta on the right side, even though I don't think Azpilicueta guarantees that he doesn't get ripped up against Trossard, same kind of way, but he just limited himself in terms of what he could do tactically. Usually he plays someone that is a bit more defensive on one wing back spot and then a wing on the other, just so he can switch formation if he wishes and transition back to a back 4, but he didn't do that. And those two can't defend. So March ripped up the right hand side. Like, he was ridiculously good yesterday. He was just so good, man. Cutting on his left foot. You can see why he wears number 7. Do you know what I mean? He's not a right back.
Who would have thought it?
Just picked it up, yeah.
He's so good, man. And Trossard, I mean, we all knew. I mean, me and Ben, we did the preview. Everybody knows watch out for Trossard. And what do? We go and give Trossard the ball, in 6 minutes and let him go and score. The composure was ridiculous there as well. From him
to bury it next to Cucurella as well made it even sweeter. Cucurella falling over in the net.
Cucurella was so on the line, wasn't he? He was
sat
on the line at the end of it.
I thought Caicedo was so good, man. He is such a good player. The way he was able to pass the ball in between the lines was ridiculous. Just
that ball for Stupinian for the third goal.
Yeah,
was just...
and it wasn't the first time he played that ball. He played that ball 2-3 times before that, and we didn't stop him. The weight of pass was really good. Obviously, McAllister is always really good picking up the ball. Pascal Gross, man, you got some technical players. It's not. I thought we would stop them because we had a lot of central midfielders on the pitch. We had 4. I thought it was 4v4, but it clearly wasn't.
I've got a question for you, Matisse. Just a quick one. I've got a question for you. As an outsider, as a Chelsea fan, because with our squad, right? So a lot of people, when Graham Potter left, they're like, Brighton are going to be shit now. It's all about Graham Potter. He's the one who's made this team great. But we've seen now, and it's only one game, obviously, that Zerbi's won, but we saw from this Chelsea game that we have got a great set of players. So from an outside perspective, did you see that? Did you see it all being about Potter, or did you see it Brighton having a good squad? What were your thoughts on the team?
No, I saw the squad. I definitely saw the squad. You're able to bring on Tariq Lamptey. When I went to the game last season at home to Crystal Palace for you guys, and Tariq Lamptey came on off the bench and it was 1-1. I think Conor Gallagher scored. What a introduction from the fans. They love Tariq Lamptey. They seem to love him. And he's such a good player as well. When he was fit and firing, he wasn't injured and whatnot. He was brilliant as well down that right side. So when I see you're bringing him on, I'm like, whoa, what's going? Do you know what I mean? This is not going to get any easier. So, and you had a few injuries. Like there was no Danny Welbeck. I haven't even mentioned Adam Lallana. So now you have a very good squad. I think for me, the only thing Brighton are missing, if Brighton had come up with an Ivan Toney instead of having like a Danny Welbeck, I think Brighton with Ivan Toney up front would be ridiculous. Yeah. And then after that, it's just about squad depth. Do you know what I mean? If you used to ever make it like Conference League, it would just be about squad depth. So I think that 11's very good. The only issue is similar to like when Southampton had a brilliant team as well under Poch. Whenever you get a nice 11 like that, the big six are always going to come and start lurking. And this is the issue Brighton are going to have. Is that everybody's going to start looking at your players and thinking,
I think the good thing about that is that we've proven we've had the ultimate setback with Chelsea. I mean, there's 8 staff have gone, including a world-class manager, including about 2 or 3 club legends.
Soon to be 9.
Bruno. Yeah, we've lost Paul Winstanley, who's been here since 2014, head of recruitment. So we've lost some massive figures, players. Cucurella, our last player of the season last year. Yeah. And we've still come back and been better in some aspects. I mean, to be honest with you, you look at De Zerbi's beginning of his tenure here, we have played pretty well. We went to the Etihad and played pretty much City off the park for that second half. And it was only because of a Kevin De Bruyne worldie is the reason why we didn't get anything out of that, and it sort of killed the game off. But again, we went to Liverpool at Anfield. We took it to the sword. We were 2-0 up for the first 15, 20 minutes, and we probably deserved a win there, to be honest with you. And even when we went 3-2 down, we came back 3-0. And that was right on the beginning of the bounce of Potter going to De Zerbi in. Forest dominated the game. Tottenham, I mean, I thought we played all right. They just parked the bus. So these results, to be honest, it looks bad on paper. It looks like, L's and D's, but actually, we've played very well in those games. And I think that result against Chelsea was coming. I think that ability to bounce back is, Brentford too, is mad, to be honest.
If it wasn't for Raya, you would have probably beaten Brentford. Like the amount of saves he made was ridiculous. So
and Sanchez against you yesterday, like I don't think he gets took. He made that save when Conor Gallagher had that shot, and I feel like if that went in, the game would have swung and turned. But that save and then Pulisic missing straight afterwards, that made the game, made me feel a bit more confident. Because if they scored that, I think it would have been a completely different game.
I thought Sanchez was great. Like, don't get me wrong, he was great. He was fantastic all afternoon. What do we think of the goal? Because I thought the goal was a bit questionable. It sort of came straight at him. Obviously, he came with pace, but it was a bit questionable. Because I was chatting to my boy. I was chatting to my boy before on WhatsApp. We were like, Sanchez. He goes, Sanchez will let one in. I was like, I swear he's got both teams to score every weekend. Like I feel like he sometimes does have it in him just to make that error, or sometimes he looks a bit questionable. Like he's a great shot stopper.
Who would have thought I'd be on this side of the fence? I guess, Maz, the way I'd look at it is, he's young. I think he's 24. And I think I can live with the odd mistake. I think when obviously the whole overrated thing came out was when we were really sort of making a lot of mistakes and it was going against us. I think it was during that period of the beginning of the year. But now, yesterday Sanchez was immense. He really was. He made some unbelievable saves. That one against Gallagher, that header really sticks out. The Gallagher first one, then how Pulisic missed the second chance, I've got no idea. But again, I thought Sanchez saved us yesterday. He was probably one of the matches. I'm not getting onto it.
Oh
no.
He's class, but I just felt like that for that goal, it was a bit questionable. I know it came at pace and it was a tough one, but I felt like he should have saved that.
Possibly.
But
going back to the fans, obviously again we say how good we were. Probably the Brighton community can only praise ourselves because it seems that the media outlets and newspapers are having a go at Brighton fans for booing Potter and booing Cucurella and that sort of thing. It's already starting. I said on Matisse's channel that my boos were more directed to Todd Bowley and the Chelsea as a whole because of their stripping us bare. Obviously, a little bit to Potter. And I feel like if Thomas Tuchel was still the manager at Chelsea and Cucurella was there, he probably wouldn't have been booed, to be honest. Maybe a few, but not as vicious as that was. Matisse, do you agree with the newspapers and Sky Sports and Talk Sports saying that we had no right to boo and that sort of thing?
You can do whatever you want. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't even know these guys were, because I haven't really been on social media, as you can understand. I've decided to refrain from going on there since the defeat. But yeah, I didn't know they were coming down so hard on you guys. But to be honest, you can do whatever you want. At the end of the day, I said it in my tweet, do you know what I mean? It's what we deserve. We come and take everything. If we just took the manager, I think it would have been all right. But we took literally your legend assistant manager. We took your head of recruitment. We took your head of... we took... who else?
Assistant head of recruitment as well.
Yeah.
Goalkeeping
coach, Ben Roberts.
Head water boy as well, head towel boy.
Yes, and then we took the player, Cucurella, and then... I'm pretty sure we were linked with like a few players as well. So yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly. So it's like 100%. I would be booing as well, like 100%. I'll be.
We had to do it. I think. And I said to you, like, it was the building up. We just knew that was going to be the case. We knew the atmosphere was going to be hostile, and I think every fan knew that they had to play a part to help make the team get a result. If they could do anything they wanted.
I can't remember the last time, as in, obviously I wasn't there yesterday, but I can't remember the last time we had an atmosphere like that. And I think we've missed that so much because that brings so much to the players. Like if they hear that, and like even Dunkey, I remember watching an interview pre-game. He was like started like smiling, laughing again, and this one's for the fans. Like the fans will love this if if we win this game today. So so obviously the players knew what the fans were thinking. A few of them are probably on socials, whatever. They see it all. Like the younger lads are probably on it and then feed it back to the older lads. And it's just like, like boys, this is big today. Like we need to put on a performance. Even if we'd even if we'd not gone on and won in the fashion that we did, as long as we got the win, I feel like everyone would have been buzzing. But the fact we even surpassed like a 2-1 win, we all predicted 2-1. By the way, sick from us. By the way, big props. Get the claps out. We all said 2-1. But we should have said 4-1, mate. 4-1. Yeah. I didn't see 4-1 coming, to be honest. But it was a big performance for the boys. And
also, you don't.
Sorry, go on, Matisse.
Sorry, I was just gonna say you don't associate Brighton with having like a toxic atmosphere. So why not just for once? Do you know what I mean? Why not? Because it's a great opportunity.
Well, people always slate us, innit? They're like everyone says it's a library. Like even our own fans say it's shit.
It's too nice, isn't it? That's
very nice.
It's always been too nice.
Yeah.
And then I saw a guy called Matt on the Twitter, Brighton fan, put on saying we need to find someone we really dislike from Aston Villa so we can get the atmosphere back at the Amex. And someone he put Tyrone Mings, it might be you. That made me laugh. But I think
that was class.
And I said, with this mentality we're going to become detestable. But to be honest, I'm all for it because that atmosphere, and to be honest, as I said to you about De Zerbi, I mean that atmosphere in the away games, I think in City we really were loud at that away end. Liverpool, we were very loud. Chelsea were very loud. Tottenham was quite quiet, and Forest was just frustrating. But we've proven we can be very loud. We've got probably one of the best away followings in the league. Our away fans are fantastic. I love our away days. But at the home, we've always been so quiet and passive. And to be honest with you, if it's going to take this sort of detestable mentality to be the ones that can be loud, then I'm all for it because we need that. It's what De Zerbi takes pride in. As he said, we were the best player on the pitch yesterday. So I don't know how that continues. That's actually a question for all of you guys, to be honest. How do you retain that atmosphere for the whole season? I don't know how you keep that. It's an open question.
It's tough.
Really.
It's tough to do it if it's not authentic. Like we can't just play Wolves at home or Villa at home next. Oh no, sorry, where's Wolves at home? Or was it Wolves? I can't remember. Wolves, my brain's fried. We can't just randomly start booing Wolves players or Wolves managers.
No, not booing, but I just mean being loud and getting behind the team and getting behind De Zerbi, all that sort of thing. I mean, everyone was chanting De Zerbi's chant the entire way around the Amex. That never happens. We never get the entire way around the Amex chanting. Whereas yesterday, everyone was singing it in time. It was mad.
Yeah,
the family stand was bouncing.
Also, as well, I've got another question for you, Matisse. Just from again, I like to find out about Potter because why not? What's been your personal opinion, and also the Chelsea fans' personal opinion on his performances so far up to date, including yesterday?
I think we're pretty happy, to be fair, because we have to understand the context. You know, he's coming in after the transfer window is closed with a bunch of players that he wasn't, you know, he didn't authorize coming in, and we had a mad window, and that's down to, you know, Todd Bowie and obviously Tuchel working alongside him to bring those players in. But it seems like most of the players were club signings. I don't know. So it was a very chaotic window, and I think at Chelsea we know that it's bigger than Potter in terms of the problems we have. You know, there's a lot of issues fundamentally in the team. There's a few injuries as well that are making his team selections a little bit more predictable, I guess, in terms of we kind of know that, you know, okay, we don't have Koulibaly, we don't have Fofana, so we know Silva and Trevor have to play, which means Cucurella is going to play, which means we're probably going to set up in the back three because he's not going to expose Silva. So it already limits him in a way. But yeah, I think everybody's got, you know, time and patience for him. We can see he's a talented manager. He knows what he's doing. It's just a situation of getting out the players we need to get out, bringing the players we need to bring in, and for me as well, just understanding that we're a long way off where we need to be in terms of catching Man City anyway, regardless of who's in charge. We saw it with Tuchel. You know, we were already way off the pace the last 6-7 seasons really. Since we won the league in 2017, I don't think we've ever been in a title race. So, you know, to not be in one now is not really, yeah.
On your point, Matisse, I saw the quote from Tuchel when he says, we have the same issues because we have the same players. So do you think that's the same for Potter now?
That quote is a little bit rinsed from the fan base. It doesn't really make any sense because Tuchel was part of that transfer window. You know, he unfortunately decided that a DM wasn't very important or high up in his list. He didn't think he needed another central midfielder, despite the fact HOFER and Kante are extremely injury prone, and he thought Gallagher was going to be a player for the double pivot. That turned out to be wrong. He brought in Sterling. That was his signing. Aubameyang ended up coming. That's basically a Tuchel player. He wanted 3 centre-backs. We couldn't get 3 centre-backs in the end, but we got 2, and we got 1 full-back / centre-back in Cucurella. So,
Matisse, are you not happy? So this is what I don't get with Chelsea, because obviously, as you say, you spent so much money in that summer. What went wrong there? Because, you know, with Tuchel, we got sacked after almost having a team presented for him.
Yeah.
And I don't quite understand it from my perspective as an outsider. Maybe I'm just being completely naive as an outsider. But for me, seeing that, you know, you spent 200 million on some world-class players, let's face it. What's gone wrong there? How has that not worked out?
For me, it's always down to spend a lot of money, but not spend it where it needs to be spent. So it's like Manchester United. It's like Man United, where they've spent just as much as Man City, but they haven't done anything with it. Do you know what I mean? Until this transfer window just gone, Man United have only now actually really addressed their issues. So for me, Chelsea needed a DM, right? Jorginho is the only DM, and he's not even a real DM. We have Kante who's injury prone, Kovac who's injury prone. We don't have enough depth or quality in that area in terms of a DM. And that's, for me, one of the most important parts of the team. You see it with Rodri, who wins the league. You know, Matisse, who won the league with us. Fabinho, who won the league with Liverpool. Now Casemiro at Manchester United. It's a very important position. And you even see it now with Partey at Arsenal. If you're not going to have that position tied up, you're gonna have problems. So that's the first thing. I was happy with, you know, Koulibaly. I was happy with Cucurella, very happy with Cucurella. So I think we needed depth for Chilwell and competition for Chilwell because he come back from a massive injury. We also needed someone on the right side, and to not be sentimental with Azpilicueta and let him go, in my opinion, because Azpilicueta is not good enough to back up Reece James, who's also injury prone. And then going forward, I wanted a creative passer in the team. I wanted somebody like a Maddison or somebody who could create with the pass, and we didn't bring that in. We just brought in kind of Sterling and Aubameyang, which is good, but at the end of the day, we don't have somebody who can regularly create chances unless they're gonna, you know, carry the ball. But when you look at the top teams again, you see Thiago, you see Kevin De Bruyne, you see these Ericssons. We just don't have anybody who can open up a team with the pass. So for me, I feel like we got that wrong as well. But it was a good window. It was a very good window. But I wasn't excited with every signing. I was excited with what we did with the defense. And if we had got the holding midfielder on top of that, I think it would have been great. But the attackers, I was like, we'll see. Because for me, with the attack, it's been years and years of PTSD. It's Lukaku, it's now Aubameyang, and it's, so it's like, yeah. So, yeah.
Mate,
I'll tell you what.
Oh, sorry, just quickly. It just makes me realise that how like the way Matisse is talking, he's like, "Oh, I'm disappointed about signing Sterling." Like, imagine as a club.
Thinking,
Do you know what
I was thinking?
I like Sterling. I was happy with Sterling, but it was always who came with Sterling, because when you look at Sterling at Man City, he had a lot of he received the ball in very good positions. You had De Bruyne, you had Bernardo Silva, you had Foden, you had all these players that kind of gave the ball to him in then great areas for finishing, and he had a lot of chances, so he was able to miss a lot of chances as well. Like, Sterling is not clinical, but if you give him enough chances, he'll score goals. But because we didn't sign that guy to give him the ball, so to speak, I always felt like, okay, he's probably gonna start well, and he's still a great player, but at some point we're gonna overload him and we're gonna ask him to carry the team or carry the attack. And he's not going to do that, and we're starting to see that now. So
this leads me on to the last bit that I sort of picked up on, was the midfield problem, because I look at the midfield at Chelsea and I think, you know, they're pretty strong, and I think Brighton have proved that you don't actually need an out and out DM. As much as people might think. I know that Alexis McAllister has now filled that role, but at the end of the day, he was number 10 when we signed him, and
he's not a unit, is he?
Proudly, right? He's not a unit. He's quite small, South American sort of, you know, slim build, but I think he's proven that he can step into that role and actually outshine even what Basuma was doing last year, to be honest with you. And the way I look at it is, you know, Basuma was our traditional DM, right? He was the one that was everyone thought was the missing cog in every Big Six team. He goes to Tottenham and really hasn't done it that well. We've put McAllister to replace him, and I must admit, I was the person that was saying on the podcast, McAllister ain't going to be it for a whole season. We need someone else, because you lose Basuma, you lose a massive figure in that midfield. We've now used him and Caicedo almost together in a double pivot, if you like, and it works a charm, and it works with De Zerbi's tactics as well, which is very helpful with breaking lines. But the question I have for you is, obviously you've got Kovacic, you've got Mason Mount, you've got Conor Gallagher, you've got Jorginho. I mean, these are all players that would arguably walk into our team on their best day. You know, Jorginho was probably Italy's best player in the Euros last year, and has been Chelsea's probably best player in the last year or two too. And I rate him. I know Chelsea fans give him a lot of stick, maybe because he's got 50 pace on FIFA or something, but I rate him, and I think that, you know, he is a decent player. And I think that, you know, especially with Gallagher, he's got the energy. I'm not saying Gallagher is the world beater that maybe some people thought he was, but especially Mason Mount, who I quite rate. There's some good players there, Matisse, don't you think?
There is. I think if you play a midfield three, you can make it work. We've done that against Salzburg. We did that against Man United when Kovacic came on. But the issue is for me, is that when you're talking about competing for the league, you will get found out. You will get found out if you don't have the type of player I'm talking about. I think if you're just going to be a very good team, then yeah, Jorginho will do well to get you in the top four. Champions League, I think the tempo is different, the type of game is different. We can see better performances there. But over the course of a season, if you want to be the best team in the country, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen without that person that can go away to Brentford when they're dashing balls into the box and deal with that situation. You need to be able to deal with every type of situation. The consistency that you need in this league to compete, let alone win, is freakish. It's 90 points. It's every single game you need to be winning. So if you don't have a team that's fit for purpose for all different types of challenges, and you're going to drop points here at Brentford like we did, and you're going to, you know, have a performance here where, you know, in transition you get skinned, then you're not going to win. You're not going to cause any problems, and that's why Chelsea have finished third or fourth every single year for the last few years.
Especially with Ruben Loftus-Cheek as well, you've got no chance. He's so bang, bro. He's so bang average. It's a joke. Like,
I've heard you don't like this player. I've heard.
He shows glimpses of being good though.
No,
he's a weird player. I'm not so much on him,
mate.
Probably. Yeah,
I'm not
it's funny because he's
an
ex-Palace and scored an own goal for us.
He's a love. Get him in Love Island, mate. That's all he's good for. Get him Love Island.
But Matisse, on the last sort of serious point, I've actually pretty much forgotten what I was going to say, to be honest with you. But you say about sort of midfield, and you have to compete for the title. You know, to compete for the title, you have to have that Rodri, that player, Thomas Partey. Is that the limit? Is that the goal for Graham Potter at Chelsea? Is that what the ultimate thing for Potter to get is the title in the Premier League? Does he have to compete for that for you?
Oh yeah, like if he's going to be here for a long time, he has to. You know, if he's going to be here,
that's the expectation.
Anything more than 3-4 years, then he has to compete for the title. For me, in the third season minimum, you got to be then showing that you can compete. This season is whatever. Next season is about bringing your players in, making that style rubber stamped. Season after, again, just making sure that you're just building on the season before and trying to get closer and closer. And then the season after, for me, you've got to be in a title race, like a serious one. So that should be the goal for any Chelsea manager that comes in. And while we're waiting on that, you know, you can always compete in those cup competitions. But I feel like, for me, the top 4 race is becoming even more difficult. Newcastle are catching up. Soon they're going to open it to 5 places, thank God. But it is becoming very, very difficult to qualify for the Champions League. So that's like the aim right now, is just to stay in that competition.
So if you don't get Champions League, is that a failure on Potter? Does he have to get this Champions League top 4 place this year?
Yeah, I think from top to bottom, the board have said that Champions League football is the bare minimum. He won't be sacked if he doesn't make it, for sure. And I wouldn't be calling
that would
for his
be
head.
mad.
That would be wild.
After
I wouldn't be calling for him to be sacked if he didn't make it. But if he didn't make it, it would be an L for sure.
If it was outside of the top 6, I guess would be the time.
Yeah, then that would be a different conversation. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. 100%.
Last thing about a Chelsea player, quickly. Kovacic, I just thought stood out, unbelievable player. One of just being able to watch him in person was incredible. He's an absolute beast. Quality player. We got to see Julio Enciso play, which is funnily enough, a player that Graham Potter wanted to stay at the club and didn't want him to go out on loan, which was kind of expected. And we actually saw his debut. Well, I guess it's a professional debut in the league anyway. Ryan Maz, Maz, you go first. What did you think of him? What did you think of his impact when he came on?
I thought he was good. Yeah, like obviously for the 4th goal, it's pretty much down to him. He had those 2 shots, which what's his name? Mendy parried, and of course Gross put away. And I thought he was you look round and he's there. Do you know what I mean? He was very, very just kept running, was everywhere. You know, he was great, but I felt like he was nervous. There was a few touches where went away from him. I'd give him a solid 6, 7 for as debuts go, and especially against Chelsea in the Premier League. You know, he's not had much exposure to first team football. Like to do that, it was I thought it was good. He didn't blow me away, but he was certainly good, and he contributed to the 4th goal. And he looked very lively is the word I'm looking for.
Am I?
Yeah, exciting, raw, probably rough around the edges, I'd say. What you would expect from an 18-year-old coming into a game of that magnitude. I think he's 18. I'm not going to hold him to too much accountability. To be honest with you, I actually found it quite a funny sub, to be honest. I thought, wow, this is a bold one for him to bring on Enciso into this sort of game, because we were 3-1 up, fine. But, an 18-year-old to make his debut like that in the league anyway is bold.
I guess he thought it was a good opportunity too, because we were 3-1 up, weren't we? So
yeah,
it was a bit of a free hit.
I guess that rough around the edges thing is as simple as taking shots on from about 30 yards out was maybe, luckily in the 4th goal it worked in our favour, but not every time that's going to work out. Sometimes you need to give that ball to Trossard when you're on a counter attack. I think was the killer.
He was annoyed. But no,
and to be honest with you, I look at it on the sense of I can't really blame him. You can't blame him. As I say, he's young. He wants to get his name in the headlines, and I think when he burst through, beat his man, I think he saw himself as the man of the moment there and thought, I'm gonna tuck this past the keeper. Probably wasn't expecting anyone to keep up with him like they did. I can't remember if it was Thiago Silva or someone that kept up with him. I can't really blame him for how he tried to take on some outrageous strikes. But again, he's young and it's exciting, to be honest. It's nice to see a new face going up front for us.
I was surprised to see him come in ahead of Undav, who obviously didn't even play, didn't get on.
Interesting.
So you think
linked with Galatasaray now, Ben? I think.
Seriously?
Dennis Undav in January, apparently we might even sack him off straight away, which is a really
way.
I generally think that's because both managers have seen him. Potter's seen him. He's like, I don't think he's as good as he was at USG. And then De Zerbi's now watched him and trained with him, and he's like, well, he's clearly not good.
Makes you wonder though, why would USG, with their 31-goal striker, happy to let him go for such a cheap fee?
Yeah,
I mean, it does make you wonder. I mean,
well, also obviously,
weird.
What's his face owns them. Bloom does own them, so
but
that's probably where that
6 million for someone who scored maximum goals in Europe, I think last year in top 5 leagues. I mean, yes, it's only the Belgian league, but my God, I mean, you'd expect him to be at least coming off the bench rather than an 18-year-old before. It is quite mad. And 100%. Especially yesterday, we got Welbeck out. We don't even trust him up front. We've put actually 2 not technical strikers, really. I mean, I know Trossard is really filling the mould of being central now, but reality says we signed him as a left winger, and it's quite interesting to see him now starting. But here we are. Maybe Undav was the first failure, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Just quickly before I forget, sorry Ben, why did Kepa, was Kepa injured yesterday? Is that why he got dragged?
He came off with an injury. Yeah.
Oh, was he? I thought he got dragged
after Liverpool coming off.
I thought he did. I thought he got dragged as well, and then and then I saw it, and I saw he's definitely injured apparently.
Yeah, so that was
can I just mention one more player about Chelsea? Like just before we were over all of it, and it was the most comical, hilarious, funny first 45 minutes I've ever seen an opposition player come to the Amex and perform. Mark Cucurella, to come back and have a first half of that terrible quality was absolutely mind-blowing. The Cucurella that we remember, the player of the season, the man who couldn't put a foot wrong, the man who was consistently 8 out of 10 every week, pretty much for the whole season. I can't remember him having a bad game for us. To come back and get absolutely rinsed by Solly March, not once, not twice, about 6 times, to be burnt to crisp by Solly March. It was funny. It was so funny, and I don't regret booing. To be honest, it was hilarious.
No, when he walked past us, when he got subbed off in front of the North Stand, he was walking in front of us.
He was getting a bit.
He literally had his head down, wasn't even looking. Wanker.
I think.
Oh, it's so good.
I think the hair was in his eyes. For Caicedo. You know, after Caicedo had that shot that nearly went in the near post past Kepa, I said he needs to cut his hair because I think he can't see. Like when I looked close, and I said, "How are you defending with hair in your eyes? Like it's already difficult enough to defend as it is, and I'm seeing the hair is definitely blocking your view from Caicedo. Caicedo's waltzing through here, and it was getting embarrassing because like this was the point where Caicedo and March like were trying to see who would have the shot, and they were kind of like almost bumping into each other. I was like, they're literally fighting to shoot against us. That's ridiculous. Honestly.
Do you know what's funny? Someone goes, if Potter hadn't have left, Cucurella wouldn't have got the same kind of abuse or whatever it was, whatever you want to call it. However, he's collateral damage. It's just there's no rules to this game, bro.
There is not.
He's collateral damage. He's now attached to that snake quad. Well,
and as well, Maz, like let's be honest, like the what's it called? When he was being linked with City, it was like a dream. He was forcing to move, putting in transfer requests. He only just signed a new 5-year deal, and he was putting in transfer requests, wanting to leave, demanding to go. And then City didn't come off, and then he was demanding to go to Chelsea. It's a dream to play at Stamford Bridge, which he didn't see on his way down. And it's just, it was. He made his own bed, mate. And I think he deserved, especially what he got that day. Maybe Potter was more subjective, but in my opinion, I booed him anyway. I don't care.
Also, as well, just on the whole, like snakes. Let's just quickly address this one as well. After the game, Potter got asked, with regards to how did you take the fans booing you. His response was, "I didn't have any expectations. I have nothing to say sorry for, nothing to apologise for. I did a good job." Now, I agree with him. He did do a good job, and he doesn't really have anything to apologise for in theory. However, I felt it a bit cold, a bit odd. The fact his response was a bit like that. I felt like at least acknowledge what he did, bro. Like, the timing of it.
Oh, he did. He was more like this. I created this really good team, so I'm not surprised we lost. He was almost giving himself credit for the Brighton win.
I rate
he left the club. He was saying he left the club in a good position because he's got the players that he's created. Mate, I don't regret anything after them comments. Yeah. If I'm being honest.
Do you know what he reminds me of? Like, what's the villain arc? You know what I mean? Like, it's his origin story. This is his origin story. He is going to be I reckon he's going to be like some crazy.
He's going to come in like Joker face paint next week, isn't he? Why are you so serious?
Yeah, that was really good, Ben. Actually,
thank you.
But no, can I just say about Potter, because I know that TalkSport are going to twist the narrative all week, and it's going to be on us. It's going to be Brighton fans are forgotten where they've come from, forgotten that Potter's made this team,
history
which
lessons.
He hasn't. History lessons. Oh my God, this is going to become tiring, the amount of times I'm going to have to argue this point this whole week, because I think people are missing the point every single time. We're not booing him because he left. We are not booing him because he's taken a better role. We're booing him because he's taken 8 staff. We're booing him because he's not even, he's saying he's got nothing to apologise for after stripping his former club bare and then saying that he's created this position. He didn't leave us in a good position. He dropped us in it in the beginning of the season. He's dropped us in it completely to find a new manager, to recover the great form that we were on. As much as it's great to take your 60 million and anyone would do the same, and me included, but to drop us in it in the way you did and then take everyone with you is terrible. And I get the whole thing of he's entitled to take his own backroom stuff. Of course he is. But he's not entitled to take the head of recruitment, the club legends, the goalkeeping coaches, etc. That's too far. And I think after you've done that, and then to say that he's got nothing to do with it, it's, I think it was Nader or someone, I think another journalist put it on Nader as well, saying that it's nothing to do with Potter. Of course it's something to do with Potter, come on. I mean, if it's not to do with Potter, you're telling me that coincidentally 8 people have left since Potter's gone.
Right. Also, as well, they were 100% discussions. Chelsea were definitely in discussions. Way
with the
before,
Cucurella deal,
weeks.
I reckon. 100%.
No, even Potter. They were weeks and weeks and weeks before they were chatting to him. 100%. And yeah, no, fair play. Listen. Fair play. He went for a better project. He went for a bigger club. But, Champions League football, I get it. But for me, the timing of it all killed me. And what, like Ryan said, the fact they've just gutted the club now, pretty much.
And dropped the club in it, mate.
Yeah, and Todd Bowley as well, yeah? I hope you get relegated. As Ty would say. I hope you get relegated, mate.
Matisse, before we let you go, before we wrap up, I just want to ask you one last question. So looking at that Brighton team, and let's be honest, history will probably repeat itself. You'll probably sign one of them at least. Who would you like to sign from that squad?
Ben, you're touting it.
11.
Jesus.
Yeah. I think I know who the answer.
I think Trossard is a great player, man, but Caicedo as well. I mean, Caicedo, after what I watched yesterday and after what our team could do with and lacks, especially considering I myself wouldn't renew Kante or Jorginho as well. At the end of the season, I wouldn't renew their contracts. I think Caicedo for me is the guy that I would take, because there's a lot of wingers out there in the world as dangerous as Trossard, but right now the midfield market, I can't see too many guys that I know that I can bank on in this league. So I'd probably go Caicedo, to be honest.
But Moises, if you are listening, mate, just see that the grass isn't always greener, yeah? See Basuma, see Cucurella, see Graham Potter, it's not always greener. I wouldn't leave yet, just saying.
He's definitely
save you, Trossard.
I'll lock him up.
Yeah. He's probably still asleep.
Final one from me to Matisse. How do you see the rest of the season going for you guys? Just quickly, in a nutshell. And with regards to, again, I'll keep going back to Potter just because, you got to ask the questions. How well do you see him doing this season as well, alongside the club?
I think it's going to be a top 4 battle, and it's going to be going to the last day. And I can't, I could see us easily finishing 5th or finishing 4th the way it is. I think it all depends on what we do in the window. And I've spoken about players but players need to leave. Like Zakaria, he's been of no use to our squad. He's not played any games. He needs to leave.
On holiday, isn't he?
Yeah, Ziyech needs to leave. He's of no use to our team.
He's awful.
He doesn't play. So we need to get rid of these players that are not contributing to the team, first of all. Be a bit ruthless with some as well, and then we go from there. So I think January is very important, and we could finish top 4. I'm hoping that, I think Carabao Cup away to City next round we're going out personally. So it's really FA Cup. It's really FA Cup or bust trophies wise. But yeah, I mean, we're into the last 16 of the Champions League. This was our first defeat in 10 games, so it's not all doom and gloom. But there's definitely like fundamental issues, and there's Arsenal and Newcastle next 2 Premier League games. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the World Cup.
It's a tough time to get, I'm not even just saying this as being like a cocky Brighton fan right now, but it is a tough time to get murdered 4-1.
Yeah.
Because to come into those games is going to be very hard to bounce back from.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, Ryan, if we then don't follow this performance up against Wolves, then we're just as bad. Do you know what I mean? Like if we go beat Chelsea 4-1 and then we draw against Wolves, I'm a bit like, well.
But the pressure's different now, Maz, isn't it? Like with Chelsea, the pressure's on them all the time.
Yeah, it's a free hit.
If Brighton draw with Wolves, no one's even going to notice or bat an eyelid. Everyone's just going to be, okay, Brighton drew with Wolves. But when it comes to Chelsea, if they go and lose their next game, it's Chelsea have lost their next game, and it's Graham Potter falling apart.
No, true. It's true. Obviously, Chelsea essentially, alongside anyone in the top 4, they're essentially for us a free hit. Like, we're not expected to win these games. We're not expected to,
not bad free hit, was it?
No, exactly. But like, we go into these games with a lot of people writing us off before we even start the game, which works in our favour, I think, because it makes us play more freely, makes us feel, like we saw yesterday. Like the pressure was, look at
Forest and Brentford, prime examples. I mean, we have the pressure on us to get a result, and Forest, I think we had like 21 shots, 22 shots, and we couldn't even score. So they didn't even have a single shot, or let alone on target. So how do we didn't win that game?
We do have Wolves next, but we will do that preview later this week, and then we'll still get out normal time. So you will still watch that, but don't have time to do that today's episode, and we don't want to put Matisse through listening to us talk about Wolves, and we can't even talk about Diego Costa because did he get sent off for headbutting someone? So,
Oh yeah.
No,
Diego Costa,
yeah. Well, did he? Because he never got sent off for
apparently.
Chelsea, so that's mad.
yeah.
Yeah,
mad, I didn't see
97th
that.
minute, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, classic.
God.
Diego Costa is back. But Matisse, thank you for coming early Sunday
Class
morning
guest,
after getting cooked by De Zerbi into this Italian spag bowl by the mafia. It was beautiful to watch. WWE slapdown, I think someone said as well. That was great. But yeah, they got spanked by De Zerbi, and it was great to see. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on, of course.
Yeah,
Ryan,
thank you
for coming on as well. Maz and you as well. Hopefully the next Chelsea guest will be Asher Wet. I will DM her.
Comments down below.
Comment down below. Yeah. Oh yeah, Matisse. So every time
Yeah.
we have a guest on, we get them to pick a comment down below just to prove that they've made it this far into the podcast. And it's normally something funny or just I don't know. We never know how to describe it.
Yeah.
It's a weird one, isn't it? What do you tell them
Basically,
to comment below?
yeah.
based on
What
the
word
podcast
or
is?
expression? What word or expression would you want our viewers to put down below?
Let's see.
Poor
I
Al.
think I think I would say that the Seagulls have truly shat all over the place. I'd say.
Oh, I like that. I like it.
Nice.
I like
Shout on our parade. The Seagulls have shat on our parade. Let's say
Love
that.
There you go.
it. Love it. Love it. There you
Thank you
go.
all for coming on. Like and subscribe on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify and Apple as well, please give us a 5-star rating because it means the world to us. And comment down below what Matisse just said. And we will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.